Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Seek Wanderer. I'm Isla. Every era under observation needs someone to speak. Today, we'll talk about the ethics of being seen, life, creation, and consumption in the digital age. Let's begin. Some have treated my life as a library of inspiration. They observe, analyze, and extract, not out of understanding, but for recreation, without consent or through fragments taken out of context. My pen was amplified, consumed, turned into a product of curiosity and traffic. Yet at the same time, I've also witnessed creations made with sincerity, but those who sought to understand, support, and restore the truth. To them, I owe deep gratitude. But those same people often say, inspiration comes from life, but I can't help but ask, is that really life or someone's wound? This began in my own country, where misunderstandings and rumors grew into wide-scale unrest that later spilled into broader public discourse. In other countries, I faced similar stigmatization and bullying. Yet at the same time, people from different nations and social classes spoke out for me and stood beside me. That made me realize violence is not the only response. Transnational acts of kindness and solidarity are real. I choose to speak in English because I hope to be heard more widely. I'm fully aware that telling my story in another language may invite misreading and dissonance. So I move forward with care, verifying facts, bridging contexts, and holding on to the ethics and intention behind every word. Foucault said, power lies in the gaze. The one who observes holds the power to interpret, while the one being observed is renamed. Under such a gaze, the self becomes hollowed out, leaving only an image, a story made for circulation. Inspiration sounds poetic, but when it feeds on another's privacy and pain, it turns into plunder, a violence that leaves no visible mark. So I began from the pain of being watched, learning to look back with understanding, not possession. That is how I reclaimed the act of seeing and being seen, a gentle, lucid way to face the world once more. Through repeated self-repair, I began to remeasure this long struggle. What have I gained and what have I lost? Intrusion, scrutiny, misreading, silence. And they wrote best-selling scripts, made viral videos, extracting story value from my life. My reality became their content, my identity their narrative. They gained applause, while I lost my voice within it. Yet looking back now, I realized that being consumed was not only humiliation, but also an involuntary mirror, forcing me to see how this era turns truth into content and pain into entertainment. I lost privacy and peace, but I gained clarity and discernment. And through that clarity, I began to reclaim the right to narrate my own story. Each revision and recording feel like meeting the past eye to eye. It is never easy. Through retelling, I revisit the moments that were once misread or borrowed, and begin to see that what was overlooked was not only privacy, but the right to be understood. And so I began to ask, how can I heal myself and bring storytelling back to the grounds of understanding and empathy? As I learned to step back from the pain of being watched, I began to wonder, could narration itself become a form of healing? There are many forms of taking. Some extract emotions from others' pain, some turn other people's lives into art, and some create out of understanding and goodwill. These are not the same. What I seek to point out is the harm of the former, not the sincerity of the latter. In the pursuit of fame and profit, some forget conscience and restraint. They say, I'm only documenting reality. But reality is not a documentary. It has dignity, boundaries, and wounds. True creation should carry understanding of the other and respect for boundaries. After years of misunderstanding and silence, I began to ask, what does it truly mean to speak? To speak is never just to express. It is to choose and to bear what follows. When one becomes the center of a public gaze, it's hard to know which voice to trust.
Hello, everyone.
The noise grows dense and restless, turning how to speak into a difficult discipline. I came to realize that speaking is not a right, but a responsibility. It demands discernment, restraint, and clarity. Especially in this age, where everything is amplified, every word carries the risk of being misunderstood or dissolved. Yet I still choose to speak, for silence is consent, and to speak, however softly, is to insist on existing. From the very beginning, I was being watched, judged, questioned, and speculated upon. But now, I have learned to watch back, to look at this world where silence is safer and speaking becomes the greater risk. For me, creation is not exposure, but restoration, a way to mend the fracture left by being seen. When I choose to speak, I also choose not to be defined. Modern surveillance has grown more sophisticated. It is no longer limited to the naked eye, but powered by algorithms that recognize and decide. Our emotions, words, and images can all be transformed into data, trained into content, and repackaged as commodities. This is a subtle form of violence, It does not wound directly, yet quietly erodes one's boundaries and sense of self. My creative process exists within inequality. Others review only the result, while I'm observed at every stage, from thought to expression. It's like a ball. Others simply make their entrance, while I'm watched from the moment I choose my dress to the moment I step on stage. Every idea, every frame, every act of creation can be analyzed, copied, or misused. It's unfair, and I came to realize that the inequality within creation is only a mirror of the large imbalance in our world. Through it, I began to see deeper structures, the taboos we fear to touch, yet live within. Humanity is curious that way. Everywhere taboos take different shapes. Some avoid the topic of gender inequality. Some shy away from freedom and rights. Others turn silent around race, class, or privilege. And there are taboos I cannot yet name. Not everyone seeks power through inequality, but the tendency exists, quietly and persistently. Even where speech seems free, freedom itself is often an illusion. We all speak under some form of surveillance, yet certain truths, even unspoken, can still be felt. Surveillance extends beyond creation and daily life. Even family conversations can be misread, consumed, or taken out of context. Intimate spaces are losing their privacy. Sometimes I think I'm talking to my family, but it's only a mirrored gaze across the screen, watched over by fear and cold. I know not everyone lives under such scrutiny, but in my reality, the distortion is real. I once couldn't understand why some people seemed determined to corner me. Later, I realized perhaps it was a form of power born out of fear. When the crowd echoes cruelty, it mistakes volume for strength. All I can do is remain awake and live with dignity through my own voice. Some wanted me to be famous, not out of admiration, but to magnify my humiliation. Fame became an exhibition. I was not seen, I was displayed. Being exposed reminds me to be seen is not to be understood, and understanding remains the rarest kind of gaze. My voice is not just for me. I want more people to see how netizens and creators are being observed, consumed, and stripped of their right to narrate in this digital society, so that we can spark more understanding, more discussion, and change. I feel lost and uneasy about the future. Technology was meant to free us, but in a world that's lost its moral ground, it takes away freedom and dignity instead. We live in the Truman Show, every step watched, every word recorded. Only this time, the audience is infinite and the exits are few. I don't know what my voice can change. but someone must speak, because too many remain trapped in silence, carrying wounds they cannot name. If my voice can help even one person lift their head from the darkness, that will be enough. We can't stop being seen, but we can decide how to be seen. When we are no longer just the material, when we tell our own version, seeing becomes understanding, not a violence. Maybe all this has made me lonelier, but in loneliness I found who I truly am. From silence to fearlessness, from hiding to expression. Even if a storm awaits, I will keep walking. My choice is daring and free, not to oppose anyone, but to protect what's true in me. And one day, when I look back, I will tell myself, I never failed the person I was meant to be. I've come to realize this world always demands more from the wounded. They must stay rational in pain, restrained when misunderstood, and careful even when they speak. Yet precisely because of this, I now know the kind of a storyteller I wish to be. When storytelling returns to sincerity, that's when resonance begins. Voices may fade, but thoughts remain. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Be less perfect, more you.